Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Behind the Strings. Today, we are talking to a great friend of mine, John from Blind John's Guitar. Hi, John. How you doing?
Not so bad. You good?
Yeah, good, good. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me. As you may know, this show is all about talking to inspirational people like yourself, people that have started their own business in the guitar world and that really are inspiring in the way that they do things and kind of the vision they have for their company. And I think most of all, the love and passion they put into whatever it is they're doing. So I think the best place for us to start is sort of, where did it all come from? How did you get into the guitar making world? And did you have any prior kind of skill set that you applied to it, or was it a learn on the job type thing?
It was kind of a mix of all those things, really. It was I trained many centuries ago in I'm a typical art school graduate. I'll rephrase that. I was a typical art school graduate going way back. I graduated way back in the early 90s. But I was sort of, I never really moved into the design world full time as a vocation. I was hijacked by something completely random. I discovered at art school that while I was great at drinking, partying, taking drugs, and everything else, I was also one hell of a climber. So I ended up being sponsored, and literally, pardon the pun, I fell into that and ended up as a professional climber and mountain guide for best part of 10 years.
Wow.
Most of the 90s. I retired in 2001, sorry. I moved into industrial climbing.
Okay.
Did that all around the world, worked in every hellhole, ice hole, tar pit, sand pit, from Libya to South China Sea to off the coast of Aberdeen, Norway, and back again. Not a young man's trade, not hanging off ropes while slinging chain blocks and things.
Yeah.
So my hand was starting to give, and at that point, I was promised myself that I would never be one of these fat safety supervisors that polished handrails with their elbows, and if the guys out there in the sharp end got into trouble, couldn't get to them and couldn't sort it out. I promised myself that I would never be that person. So once that happened, I moved into management, fell into the whole chasing the money, sticking with salaries, working the world over. And the bottom line was, it didn't suit me.
It wasn't for you, yeah.
No, I don't like people that much. I'm a bit of a workaholic in that sense, that I will work to the exclusion of everything else. Something I had to give, and my mental health was what finally gave. So I needed a radical change. I needed to do something else. I'd made cigar box guitars for years, just for fun. I'd made a few guitars that I'd made for me, but I never kept because friends had gone, I love that. I'd bought it, or I'd lent it to them and never got it back, or whatever else. So I just kind of thought, maybe I can make a go of this.
Yeah.
At the same time, I was diagnosed as being bipolar with PTSD. Now, I thought that was completely normal, the way that my brain works. It took me a long time to find out that it wasn't. So my brain at rest can best be described as absolute chaos. I think in pictures, but it's like having 10,000 TVs all playing different channels, and you're trying to watch.
Wow. Yeah.
It's that focus is a struggle. Give me a bit of timber, put me in my workshop, and suddenly everything goes quiet. I can concentrate, I can produce, I can work, I can be inspired. Hopefully I can be inspiring to some. But it works for me, and it works now slightly better than any therapy ever has.
Wow.
And any other escapism either. There's an old classic from, what's the film, Point Break, where he says, Johnny, some guys jab a vein for it, some guys snort a line for it, some guys go on stage for it. All you have to do is jump out of a plane for it. Well, I've done that, and it's true, but you can't do that daily.
Yeah.
So, but for me, making guitars, that's what it does. It quietens the mind. It allows me to focus, to think, to.
But do you think it was the tactile part of it as well? Like, so the actual woodworking and kind of, having
Yeah,
your hands
I think it is, because
yeah.
there was definitely something in that for me originally, because I originally trained as a furniture designer.
Okay, that's
After
where
the
it comes from
usual, the usual art school bullshit journey of
Yeah.
general foundation, BTEC degree. I ended up specialising in furniture, and I love doing it. So that gave me, I guess, the skill set, mentally speaking, to be able to design, and it gave me the basic skills of being able to make. I'm also lucky in that my dad is one of these guys who's a jack of all trades, master of none, but when it comes to building, construction, he can do it all.
Right.
So I grew up watching that, being involved in that, picking bits and pieces up, tips up. So I guess that was always there. The germination of that seed was planted, I think, a very, very early age.
Yeah. So you saw how your dad. It reminds me almost of like the kind of Brian May story, right? Of him building his guitar with his dad.
Yeah.
In a little, that's where it comes from, really. The seed was there already.
Yeah, it was there already.
Yeah.
Very much so. And I built one, and that sold, and then I went to 2, to 3, to 4, and I think I'm approaching. Well, no, I am. It's I think that's 97 or 98. I have 3 orders coming in that take me over 100, but I'm banking number 100 for something special that I've got coming up in the future that I'm sure we'll get to later.
Wow. So how long does it take you, kind of on average? Obviously, you've got your own, workshop. You're essentially doing everything except, I guess, for the pickups yourself, and various bits and pieces. But how long does it take you from kind of start to finish to do a full build of a guitar generally?
I usually ask people to give me 12 to 15 weeks.
Okay.
Sometimes that can grow arms and legs. If it's Pelham blue, and I don't know what the fuck it is about Pelham blue, but it drives me insane. It's not a colour I'm massively fond of, and I know it's a real Marmite colour for guitars. You love it or you hate it, but being that I specialise in relics, there's something about Pelham blue that is just a pig to work with.
I don't know why. I don't know,
because I've done several. I've got 2. One is going out hopefully this week or next week. One will be a couple weeks after that, and I've been on those for about 7-8 months.
Wow.
And it just has. It's not that it hasn't gone to plan. I've had a few glitches with workshop leaks and things, but that by the by, there's just something about Pelham blue, and it's not one guitar that has given me grief.
It's happened over and over.
It's 5 now. It's 5 now. So I don't know why, but if somebody asks me for Pelham blue, it's like, oh, yeah, you might need about 6 months, possibly a year for that. So
just bear that in mind.
Just bear that in mind. Yeah.
So that's really interesting, and I think it leads nicely to one of the things that I'm really kind of inspired by, and for me is really hard to imagine if I put myself in your shoes, is if I just go on your website, and which, by the way, for everyone, is www.blindjohnsguitars.com. Is that right?
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So what really strikes me is kind of the creativity and the aesthetics. That's the first thing you kind of notice when you see your guitar, especially if you don't have it there, but you just the kind of the almost alternative nature. It's a bit of a blend, obviously, with the classic inspiration and a definite rock, punk, blues attitude to it. So how do you, if you sit down at the table, how do you actually start drawing up the guitars? Does it just come to you? Do you get an idea and then you start sketching it out? How
The
do
most
you? I'm
bizarre.
really interested in the actual process, how your mind works in terms of coming up, because you're not just rehashing a telly, or you're kind of
I'm
taking
trying not to.
taking a classic inspiration, but then putting a very distinct twist to it, which personally it appeals a great deal to me. But it has that real kind of rock and roll vibe to it, and I just wonder how you apply it, really.
The most random of things can inspire me,
Really? Okay.
from a song lyric to the shade of a leaf that I may see falling from a tree. I
Oh
know
wow.
that's
Yeah.
arty bollocks, but it's
No, but
happened. It's I did a Sherwood Green guitar a while back that was inspired entirely by a leaf that literally fell in front of me that was almost half autumn brown crinkled and
yeah.
half summer green. It
Wow.
can be as random as that. Other times, the lyrics to a song or a story. I thought long and hard, actually. I did an interview with Guitar Connoisseur magazine a couple of years ago,
Yes.
and I was asked a similar question. Oddly enough, it was an old friend that did the interview, but I love stories.
Mm.
I love the idea of stories. Probably why I'm such a big Tom Waits fan. Because the images that he can create through words and lyrics, for me personally, it's that alternative seedy side of middle America that you don't really see. That
Yes.
some would say I got lucky to see. I spent a lot of time in the 90s in America. I mean, a lot of time. And I've seen that underbelly, for want of that term, and those stories resonate for me. For a working class background, and I've working class boy done good. I guess I don't know I don't know how to really frame that. But those stories I love, and the idea of a person creating stories on an instrument is also something that I love. Now, as we said, as we spoke earlier, the guitar industry, the guitar making industry runs on nostalgia. It's the only industry in the world that does.
Yes, absolutely.
Ford wouldn't produce a car, or Jaguar wouldn't produce a car and say, right, we need to make this car that we've been making for the last 70 years and make it exactly as their board directors would go, what, you fucking insane? This isn't how it works. Well, the guitar industry does. I've played some amazing guitars in my life. One in particular that I remember playing was a 1961 Telecaster that I played in a guitar shop in New York. This is going back 20 years now.
Yeah.
Going back that far, it was still about 50 grand.
Wow. Quite.
And I hadn't noticed. I thought it said 5 grand at the time. I just picked it up, started playing it, and I played it, and it was a dog.
Really?
It was hideous. It looked incredible.
But
it looked amazing, but it was a dog. And I remember thinking, this is.
But was that
the guy? I said, 5 grand for this. It's a dog. And he was like, no, sir, that's 50 grand. And I was, I'll put that back. And,
but was that the sound, or was that the actual how it felt? Was that the playability?
Playability. The action was awful. There was dead frets. It was just the pots crackled. And it's a 50 grand instrument, but it looked like it had stories to tell and then some.
Exactly.
And that resonated. And I've been doing cigar box guitars for a while, and a cigar box guitar shouldn't look new. It's a kitchen table industry that anybody can actually do.
Yes.
You only need a plank, a box, and 3 strings. That's the beauty of it. And the fun in it, in that there are no rules.
Yes.
But you wouldn't make one that looked like a brand new. I'm trying to think of a brand new car. Hyundai Kona. You wouldn't want a cigar box guitar that you would want that warm look.
It just doesn't match.
But it doesn't match. And I'm a typical Gen Xer, born in '70 and here I am now. I don't like the shiny. I don't like the new.
Yeah.
I like things with a story that can be told, or listened to, or written, or however else that you're going to see it. And those guitars are so rare, so expensive, that are out of the range of mere mortals.
Yeah.
Somebody once described me as the anti-custom shop, which was a term that when I thought about it, I actually really liked, because it's kind of true. I remember Fender did some relics in their that came out of their custom shop, and there was a couple of pictures, and I was looking at them thinking, there's something that's registering that's not right for me here, and I couldn't work out what it actually was.
Yeah.
A few weeks later, that classic, couldn't sleep, 3 a.m, ting, light bulb goes off. That's what it was. The relic pattern was the same.
Yeah.
Both guitars, made a year apart. It was done off a fucking stencil. I thought, Fender, really?
And how much did they charge for that?
Well, what's the customer shop starts at now? What, 5K?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
or 5K, something like that. Don't get me wrong, they looked the part, but it was done off a stencil. And I thought, no, just no.
But also,
you're a big enough company, you can do better than that.
Of course, yeah, because especially if someone comes to you for a custom shop, if it was a line kind of, mass-produced guitar, fair enough. That's the way the market is. But a custom shop should be hands-on, not a stencil, right? Something with
so
an
it's so that kind of started the trip down the Relic lane, for a better term, with cigar box guitars, and it kind of grew from there. I did a 6-string. It was called Burma Shave, actually, named after a Tom Waits song.
Yeah.
And it was Sonic Blue over 3-color Sunburst.
Yeah.
And I won't say it went viral because it didn't, but that was the one that, for want of a better term, put me on the map where relics are concerned in doing what I did now.
Of course, yeah.
6 years. And it works. And people seem to love it. And it's not an easy job trying to make a guitar that you're making brand new from new timber, be it reclaimed or even seasoned. To whatever age it is. It takes time, but it can be done, and it can be done well. And there's no reason why it shouldn't be done well. But at the same time, I'm from a working class background. I can't afford I've earned 6 figures, and I couldn't afford a genuine vintage instrument. Even then, it's just out of the range of it ever happening for your average person. And I think there's something wrong in that.
And they weren't meant to be that either, were they? Originally,
no.
That's the thing, right?
No. It's the fact that 56. Well, let's take the classic, a 58 Les Paul Custom.
Yeah.
What's one of those, genuine one of those, going to cost you now? You're looking at 6 figures. How many people genuinely the world over can afford?
Can just do that, and spend.
I mean, we're looking at less than 1%, which means it's not going to get played unless you Kirk Hammett. And there are still people, and it really does make you laugh, that say, I was a Metallica fan until Kirk Hammett bought Greenie, and he plays it on stage. Well, of course he fucking plays it. It's a guitar. It's a fucking guitar, for Christ's sake. It shouldn't be played. It shouldn't be put away.
No, of course.
In a vault, like Van Gogh painting that should again be enjoyed, not put away in a vault. So that was kind of the ethos behind it, to make a guitar that's affordable. I say affordable. I'm hugely aware that even when I say affordable, my guitars aren't cheap. You're still looking at 2K, let's say, on average, for an average custom build, but that's still 3K less than Fender are charging for a guitar that's
Absolutely,
got
yeah,
the
and
same CNC line as their conventional guitars. So, and what you are getting is a genuine, one-of-a-kind guitar that is handcrafted, that is hand-built by a person that cares, that wants to share their vision with you and impart what you want into their vision to give you an instrument that will last a lifetime and be a one-of-a-kind. You know, it might be one of those same three shapes that everything else is based on, be it a Les Paul, a Telecaster, or a Strat, but it's still that unique to you. And that's really what I strive for. I want the customer to have that experience of a guitar that's built for them.
Yeah.
Perhaps they don't earn a fortune. Perhaps they've saved for like 5 years for this. Perhaps it's their wife and their grandparents have clubbed together for a 30th wedding anniversary or a 50th birthday present. It's taken that long. So what? Who gives a shit? It's still that experience that I want to create for that person. So that the stories that I can tell that I've put into that build, that guitar, can then be turned into them having a guitar. And in 30 years' time, imagine the stories that guitar can then tell.
Exactly. And I think that's something very important, because I'm sure you will have at some point, you know, whether directed at you or generally, there's always this like ongoing thing about, you know, relic guitars or non-relic guitars, people saying it's kind of like cheating or you do it yourself or whatever it is. I mean, I personally never had an issue, and I actually think that, as you say, there's, even if it's just purely aesthetic, for me, it makes me, I just enjoy the look. I enjoy the way they feel when done properly. I enjoy the whole vibe behind it, because ultimately, you know, the first thing with guitars is most of us just choose them because how they look. Let's be 100% honest about that, right? And then we think about different things. But I think where the kind of value that you're adding to this, and it's really a discovery for me, and I'm sure a lot of other people, is most kind of mass-produced relic guitars, if we want to call them that, they kind of relic the body, maybe do a bit of work on the hardware, but that's about it. But I think where the real value comes in is the neck feels played in, the, you know, it just everything, you kind of bring that job essentially to the max. Everything is authentic, if you want to use that word, in the way that you relic it. So it kind of, it's not so much a new guitar that's being just scratched up and dinged up. It's just a recreation of what you imagine something 50 years ago would have been, and today, right? It's being heavily played with that, as you say, that story, that character. But, and we talked about this offline earlier on, but with some of the advantages that we have today. So great tuning, you know, good hardware, you know, stuff that doesn't always come with vintage instruments, right? And you know, tuning is, for me, one of the most important things. If a guitar can't stay in tune, I won't want to play it as much, to be honest, because it's just a pain in the ass to kind of keep retuning it.
No one does.
But yeah, and so
it has to be usable.
Exactly. So
it has to be easy.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to be fighting an instrument for good tone. And we all talk about that quest for tone, and it's probably a close second after the initial look and how that guitar makes you feel viscerally.
Yeah,
I think that's as well something that I want people to have a visceral reaction to my guitars. If they love it, brilliant. If they hate it, okay, it's not for you. So what? I'm not offended by it. That's just what I do. It's not your taste. No problem. You know?
Absolutely, yes. You and you know, that's certainly part of the experience that I had when I first came across you, is that it grabbed me immediately, because I am naturally very, you know, attracted to that look. I like that aesthetic. That's what I want all my guitars in an ideal world to look like. if I had the money. But I think it's just a reflection of what you like, and you're not building stuff that you think other people will like. You're building stuff that you are proud to build, and that follows your story, your history, your kind of vision. And that's and I think that definitely, shows, and that's the beauty. That's, I hate the word art, but that's kind of the artistic side of it. I think it's your art is the fact that you're
I used to struggle with that term, as you say, probably for similar reasons, but I don't actually think, when I've sat and thought about it, there is actually a better term for it. I wouldn't call myself an artist, no.
Yeah.
But I would refer to what I do as my art, because it is my art. It's not everyone's. But the people that come to me for a custom guitar aren't the sort of people that want a immaculate showroom finish Ferrari of guitars with the latest Seymour Duncan pickups and whatever else. That they come to me for that certain look, that certain feel.
Of course.
Because that's what I do. It's don't get me wrong, I'm perfectly capable of making a guitar that looks like it's just stepped out of the showroom. I won't get as much enjoyment doing it as I would for, say, something like this. But it is what it is, to use that term well. It's overused a bit, but it very much is. This is what I do. This is why I do it. And if you like it, brilliant. Wonderful.
Of course.
Thank you. If you don't, okay, so
it's not your everyone, that's the thing. I think the beauty of it, and the beauty of, I think, music in general and kind of guitars, is that people have tastes, people have different different kind of visions for where they want to be, what they want to be, and you can shift.
Thank God we do.
Exactly, that's the beauty of it being different. But that also kind of reminds me. So when you're building these guitars and you're working on these projects, what's the part of the build that you actually dislike the most, or that gives you, or that you kind of think you get less excited about? Is there a specific thing, like the refinish or the finish, or kind of the
I can do finishes all day, and because of the nature of finishes, they always come out differently. You can't plan a finish to come out the same way twice. There's going to be differences in there.
Yeah.
One of the things that I love about it, an area where it is always the same, is the fucking electrics.
Yes.
I hate doing electrics. My hands aren't as good as they used to be, so electrics, neck pockets worry me, because I do occasionally get these hand spasms that have destroyed body or two when it's gone with a hand router. Because as Thomas Nilsson said to me recently, you must be the only luthier left that still makes bodies entirely by hand, and there are no CNCs. That is going to change at some point soon, simply because it has to. I'm not getting any younger. My hands are getting worse, so I need to. And while I will miss that element of hand tools and knowing it all came from these and not part of it from a machine is always going to cut a neck pocket better than
no, of course.
But no, the thing I really don't get any enjoyment whatsoever out of is doing the electrics. Not to say that I'm doing self-standard work, but if I had the money, I would quite happily farm that out with somebody else, or buy in pre-wired harnesses, which I know a lot of guys do, but it does decrease your margins massively.
Of course.
And I like to do as much in-house as I can. I mean, I just mentioned that I'm going to miss certain aspects of building when I do get the CNC installed in the next few months. However, on the other side of that, it will allow me to bring in certain elements of design that I haven't done before, simply because I can't do it. You can't tool a piece of aluminium into a bridge by hand. Well, you can, but it's going to take you years.
But it's a lot, Whereas
with a CNC, I can. So where I've lost where I lose a certain amount of enjoyment, the satisfaction of knowing that I started with 3 bits of wood and a couple of power tools. Now I've got a guitar. Where I'm losing that, it will also give me the ability to bring certain things in-house that I couldn't before, like making bridges.
Yes.
And that area, or changing control plates, doing a different design of a control plate, because while you can buy a blank telly plate, sometimes you don't want a blank telly plate. You want an angled bit here, and you want that corner there, and that's difficult to do. Not impossible, but difficult to do by hand with a piece of stainless steel and hand tools. Not saying it can't be done, but it's going to make the job a lot slower and a lot more expensive.
Of course.
Or to be able to find that out to a machine, especially a machine that's in-house.
Yes.
So while part of me is going, oh, you're going to miss that. Yes, I am. But I'm trying to keep on top of the positives there and take something from that. Okay, I'm losing that, but I'm getting that.
But it makes sense. Yeah. What about the neck? How do you feel about, because you carve all your own necks?
I love carving necks. There's something about carving a neck that I get lost in. I'll have the music going, neck on the block, and I'm lost. You can kiss goodbye to me for way in my own world. And it's therapy for me too. I mean, we touched on earlier. But I'm bipolar, and no amount of therapy or antidepressants will ever make me feel like I do and quieten the mind. When you're focused, like when I'm carving a neck, it's something about it that's like you say, it's tactile, it's physical. There's a certain amount of exertion there, certain amount of skill with different tools. If you have a blue at the top, or you're changing the angle of the shoulder at the heel, all these things that you think about. For me, it quietens the mind. It allows me to focus, and I'm just in my own world.
It's
fantastic.
Just
me, that bit of timber, and whatever music's playing.
Yeah. So how do you usually? So is it, say, the neck carve and stuff like that? Is that something that you usually, when you're making a custom guitar, is that something obviously that you discuss with the customer, and if they have any special requests on it, or do you usually just have according to the body type, for example? Do you have kind of, would you suggest this standard?
Ultimately, it's the client's guitar. So I have sort of two ways of looking at this, and this is part of what keeps me stable from, let's say, some of the more obtuse customers, no names mentioned, that we all get. I have two types of guitar. I have what I call my stock guitars, which are things like Lilith.
So I believe that's Lilith, right? Yeah,
that is. Shortly coming to you for a review. That's what I call a stock guitar. It's it's a guitar that I built for me, not for me. It's a vision that I had in my head, where no customers are involved. I can literally do what I want, put it on a website. If it sells, great. If it doesn't,
you're still playing it. So
it's great. Whereas if a customer comes to me for a guitar, you can't say, well, I will only build you this, because you're building them something with their hard-earned money that you want them to enjoy forever. It's if I'm paying somebody the best part of $2,000 for a guitar, I don't want that guitar to last 5 years.
No, of course.
I want that guitar to last, into my great grandchildren's life, ideally.
Of course.
So that they get the stories to hear on it and make their own stories. So you have to listen to the customer to a degree. Certain ideas, you're on the phone while banging your head on the table, thinking, "Oh, please no."
Yes.
But that's the same in any industry. We've all had Kens or Karens just like that. But no, you do have to listen to the customer, what the customer wants. You can steer them towards what you think they need. But at the end of the day, it's the customer's money and the customer's choice. So,
of course,
like I said earlier, if somebody comes to me, I know they're not coming to me for a brand new showroom finish, nice shiny Fiesta red, poly finished, immaculate Strat. You know,
Yeah.
if they're going to do that, they're going to go straight Fender. And great, because I can't compete.
No, but it's
With that,
yeah. It's not you don't want to do that. I mean, it's
no.
a different thing.
So there are certain areas where the customer will come to me because they know that that's the rough gamut of what I do, and then it becomes a joint effort. As much fun as making guitars like Lilith is, it's also nice to know that you're fulfilling
someone
a dream
else.
for somebody else.
Yes, absolutely. And I guess that ties in nicely to also the fact that I guess obviously the downside of being you know, a small company like yours is the fact that obviously it's a lot of hard work for you. You need to get involved in everything. You know, you're hands on to the build, the electronics, the customer relationships, everything like that. But then the flexibility is that you can actually truly make something unique and satisfy the ultimate client's desires. So in terms of woods, I guess, you know, if they have any specific requests for wood types, pickups, I guess, obviously the aesthetics of it. But, you know, there's that kind of, at least as a guitar nerd myself, we all just spend way too much time on the internet, like looking at guitars. You know, you go on the various websites and just look at guitars, and often I go, oh, I really like that guitar, but I would have liked it better with this or with that. And then and it's very rare to find something that ticks all the boxes. And I'm sure all of us have dreamed up our you know, ideal guitar, which is most often than not a mix of various different guitars put together. And I think that's a wonderful thing about an outfit like yours, is that you can actually make that come true. You can actually, you know, put different models together, put different inspirations. And I know we'll talk about it in a little bit, but you've got some new models coming up that really actually remind me a lot of that, where they're a bit off center in the sense that it's almost like you've taken inspiration from, you know, the pickups from one guitar and put them together with something that maybe you don't expect, and that can create something really unique and very very cool and different sounding. And I think that's ultimately the beauty of it, is that you're flexible and that you don't have the kind of massive overheads that a big company has, and you don't, you know.
No, and having that flexibility is a wonderful thing, and it is simply the best thing about being your own boss. I guess in whatever trade,
everything, and no, that's
it's
true.
that ability to say yes to one thing, no to another, and not have the pressure of HR, of corporate, of whatever else. I mean, we both worked. And it's fucking awful. It's horrific. How anybody can manage to stay in there, let alone enjoy it for life, it's beyond me. Having that ability to say no, to go, no, I'm going to build this one, and I'm going to build it this way.
Yeah.
And, you know, obviously you want it to sell. You want people to like it, but you don't have to sell out to the same corporate idea of what a guitar has to have. It has to have this pickup. It has to have this outlay. It has to have that pick guard. It's a Telecaster, so it has to have two pickups. One pickup can maybe be a humbucker at the neck only. You know, if it's a Strat, it has to have three pickups. It can have a humbucker, but only at the bridge. You know, it's you aren't tied by that. You don't have to actually do that. It's
you could put P90s in it, which
you can put two P90s in a Strat, which have a comments today. You what? You're putting two P90s in a Strat?
Why not?
What? Well, isn't that going to be a bit high for the trend? No, I'm using a big speed.
Yeah, exactly.
Why not? You know, it's an idea for a guitar that I've had kicking around for years. Well, let's do it. It's part of the new line. So, you know, why not?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And That's incredible, and I think that also kind of leads me to another thing. Do you find that I think it's always that tension between kind of the word boutique guitars or kind of custom guitars, whether with clients or if you go to trade shows and stuff like that. Do you find that there's still a strong interest by people in buying boutique guitars? Do you find that the kind of ongoing price wars, where most, if not all, guitars are made in, whether it's China, Indonesia, and really high standards. I mean, we are in a sense very, very lucky to be able to buy guitars that are very inexpensive and that are very playable. Obviously, depends on what you want, but there's when I think we both grew up, if you bought a entry level guitar, it was literally unplayable. But now you can get, because of the strings were that high and they were just crap. But now you can get some very decent instruments at a very low price because of manufacturing in Asia or wherever it is. But
you can get very decent instruments at a price that as a maker, I don't understand how they can make them at that
exactly.
price. The obvious company there is Hardley Benton.
Yeah.
How they can produce that guitar at that price and have that amount of playability is beyond me. And brilliant. Good luck to them. Good luck to them.
No, absolutely.
What they're doing is great. It does make it a little harder for people like me, because folks then say, well, they posted like 300 quid because it's homemade. No, it's not homemade. I'm not Hardley Benton. I don't have a production line where I'm producing 5 million of these things a year.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's the same scale, yes, but it's different ends of. So I think that they're always.
So do you see that tension there? Do you get that often in terms of people coming to you with kind of those feelings, maybe?
Yeah, they're usually idiots. In all honesty,
yeah.
I don't suffer fools, sadly, and the older I get, the less that I want to be around people like that. It's I think it's definitely an age thing, and if somebody wants to take the attitude, well, it's homemade guitar, isn't it? I can, my mate could make that for 300 quid. Really? Then go see your mate.
Exactly.
Don't let the door stuck in the arse on the way out. It's as simple as that. I'm too old to suffer that sort of bullshit. I can't be bothered with it. I'm not about to. It's that argue in the comments for me.
Exactly.
You want to think that, argue in the comments because I ain't going to read it.
Yeah. And I think also if we are really just realistic and to the point, if we take the example of Lilith behind you, which is correct me if I'm wrong, that's kind of, as you said before, a guitar in your more standard line, so it's not a built for someone. It's
what I call a stock guitar.
A stock guitar for you, which maybe stock isn't the best term, because you still it's still an incredible handmade instrument. You gave as much attention to that guitar than to your custom build, so it doesn't. The quality is exactly the same. But if you actually go look at the hardware, go look at the the specs of the guitar, go look at the fact that the finish and the amount of hours you put into it, and then look at the price, and then compare it to a guitar of a similar price, well, you know what? The value of one of those guitars, so one of your guitars, is like 10 times more than that. Just simply because you will never get that amount of attention to detail, the incredible specs. I mean, one thing that really, and I understand why it is, and I don't want to bash on Gibson and Epiphone, whatever, but that now Epiphone are selling a grand, guitars that are over $1,000.
Yeah.
Just doesn't sound right to me. But again, that guitar behind you is, if I'm not mistaken, just over $1,000 as well. And, you can't really compare them, right? One is a hand-built custom instrument, that okay, you made for yourself, and the other one is a mass-produced in Asia. Even the specs are not the same. You know, the pickups that you put in there, the quality of the tone pots, the components are completely different. So your guitars, if you put it on an equal plate, they're not that much more expensive than what Fender, Gretsch, whoever charges. If you're comparing like for like, they're not that expensive. So I think it's more of a preconception that maybe people have. Oh, they're really expensive for what they are. And not just you, just I think custom builders generally.
Yeah.
You actually have to compare like for like. What you're actually getting, because you're not getting tone pots that are mini tone pots that will break in a month, or you're not getting crap electronics. You're not getting pieces of wood that you don't know whether it actually is that wood or not, bad paint jobs and stuff like that. You're getting proper materials, and so I think maybe it's I always seem to think that maybe it's more an image thing, that people are a bit scared to reach out to custom builders or smaller outfits like yourself.
I think people have a certain amount of fear too, in that they think, well, if a new let's use Fender as an example, simply because I have a designed by Leo behind me. It's a US made Fender. Is it the Player Series now?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Or is it the Vintera? I think they're much the vintage Player Series.
They've changed things recently. Yeah.
If you buy take a typical standard 3 pickup Sunburst Strat from Fender in their Players Series, you're not going to get much change out of what, 2.5, 3K?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
So you're looking at about a third more to a quarter more than I'm going to charge you. Well, as you say, with Defender, you're getting maybe a nitro finish, maybe not.
I'm not sure about that. Yeah, I think
you're not getting a handmade instrument. Even if you go to a customer shop, you're not getting a handmade instrument. You're a handmade instrument from Fender. You look at Masterbuilt, and they start at what, 12K?
Exactly. Yes.
So you're getting a neck and a body that's come off the same CNC line as the rest of their.
As a Squire,
you've maybe got 4 or 5 different people that work on that guitar. You're getting mass-produced pickups that come off a machine in their thousands. Okay, well, that one in particular, you have a one-piece mahogany body sourced from what's the word I'm looking for? I got the word ethical on the brain. That's not it. Not saying not ethical, but it's sustainable. So it's from a sustainable fair trade source, one piece, hand shaped, hand finished, from start to finish. Same with a neck, 2-piece maple neck. Every bit of hardware, from the bridge to the brass.
The saddles. Yeah.
Words just get me. Saddles. Every bit of that hand relics. The neck is hand relics to give the appearance, not just the appearance, but the feel of probably show for the camera.
Yes, absolutely.
It's not actually painted to look worn. It is actually physically worn. I've gone through picture after picture of a worn neck, see how they wear
exactly,
and worn it appropriately. The pickups handmade in Cornwall by Bare Knuckle folks.
Yes.
Bare Knuckle are getting that reputation as a really big company, which they are now. They are big. They have a great range of pickups. Some say, well, they're just big, mass produced. No, they're actually not. They're still hand wound, handmade pickups made in Cornwall by hand the way that they always have. Every bit of that guitar, you are getting a hand worked on piece of my art for what
of course.
better. So that must, and where I think a lot of folks fall down and forget, and it's not just for guitar making, any handcrafted, for want of a better term, item, you will have that same attitude. You aren't paying for really the time that I spent making that. You're also paying for all the years that I spent learning how to make that. So
it's the craft, yes.
But I think there's a fear in a lot of people that if they come to somebody like me or anybody else, I mean, pick a random boutique maker from myself to Maybury to Anco to whoever else, there's a misconception that the prices are going to be on a par with a Fender Masterbuilt or a luthier that's been around making purely acoustics from the finest 6A star grade, you know, sycamore that was once pissed on by a one-horned unicorn in, you know, deepest darkest Europia or wherever. That they're only going to even attempt to actually do it if they know that you earn 7 figures. Well, no, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. We have to make a living. We have to compete with the big boys, the Gibsons, the Fenders, the Gretsch's. And most of us can't do that by charging a ridiculous amount of money. Some might argue we can't even do that charging really what the guitars are worth. You know.
Yes.
So listen, kids, don't be a guitar maker. There's no money in it. You know, joking aside, if you want to be rich and famous, making guitars is not the way to go. You know, it's you've probably got even less chance of doing that than you have being a rock golfer.
Being a rock star, absolutely.
It doesn't work. But I think that there is a fear that people will ring you up and you're not going to get out of bed for less than 10 grand. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. And most of us will try and accommodate most budgets. It's my stock guitars, what I call stock guitars, and I call them stock guitars because it's what I have in stock. That's,
of course, yes.
That was I couldn't think of a better term for it. So if I make a guitar and it goes on the website, that's a stock guitar. It's in stock. Other than that, it's custom orders.
Yes.
So I've completely forgotten where I was going at. That's all issue.
I mean, going to the stock guitars, I think they're honestly, you know, exceptional value in the sense that, again, as we just said, I think the specs and what you're getting for your money is exceptional value, and I think that's maybe obviously part of, you know, kind of how you. I don't know, and correct me if I'm wrong. If you price them in a way to obviously be competitive, but you've got a certain kind of flexibility in the way that you price certain guitars, and that you
yes, you're entirely right. It's if a customer rings me up and says, "Look, I want a custom guitar. Not sure what I want, but I've only got £1,000." Okay, well, I'll be honest, we're going to struggle there.
Yeah.
But it's not impossible.
Yeah.
So let's have a talk about what it is you actually want, and then we can not so much cut corners, but we can go down single pickup rather than cheaper tone woods, you know, poplar rather than mahogany, or, you know, there's ways and means around it, and you need to have that flexibility if you're going to keep going and compete with the big boys. You know, you have to have that, but it also feeds back into that misconception that I think, I don't know if it's a misconception that's perpetuated by the big boys, or if it's something that's just sort of grown over the decades, that people think a custom guitar or a boutique guitar, neither of which terms I'm particularly fond of. I've got to admit, but I don't have a better term for it. You know,
I do think I do see what you're saying in the sense that it is something that they kind of push out there for a certain elite of players, which
Exactly.
99% of us aren't
Exactly.
going to be,
Exactly.
or even I mean, even more, 99.9% of us, because even except for like Slash or whoever's the top, earning guitar player currently, but most guitar players are still playing, in that play live, even massive venues. They're still playing, road worthy guitars that are not custom built by Fender or whoever, because
Yeah.
they can afford to get them. If you're then, Kirk Hammett / whoever the biggest guitar player is, okay, Gibson, Fender, whatever, they're going to give you guitars, so it's a different matter. But
Yeah.
if you have to purchase them yourself, it is, I totally see what you're saying, and I think that's it. It kind of leads nicely into one of the things that I always ask on this series, and I'm sure you're going to have a great answer for this. So if
Oh
you were
God.
to give someone who wants to get started in this business some advice, or not necessarily guitar making, but for example, if you're from an electronics background into making effects pedals or amps, whatever it is, some advice on how to get started in the guitar industry, or finding what you're really passionate about, what would that be in terms of what advice would you give them? It's
Forward.
maybe a hard question.
No, forwards. Just
Really?
fucking do it.
Oh,
Don't worry. Don't worry about what others think. Just fucking do it. Because
really?
it's like to use a very cliche expression, but at least one that I am qualified to say, having climbed many, it's like climbing a mountain. It all
Yeah,
begins with that first step.
yeah.
And that first step is often the hardest to make.
Mm,
So if you want to get started, just fucking do it. Just start.
yeah.
Don't worry about it. Don't procrastinate. Just start.
Just do it. Yeah, that's
Because
that's really
you'll go from, because it'll work from there. It'll either work for you or it won't. There ain't no middle ground.
but I guess you'll never know if you don't do it, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
isn't a middle ground. 99% of businesses fail within the first, 3 years?
yeah,
Well, chances are yours will. Chances are mine will. Chances
yeah.
are they all will.
Mm,
But you can't have that as a precursor to not doing it.
mm.
Procrastination's easy. We all do it. We're all great at it.
Absolutely, yes.
It's starting that's the hard bit.
Mm. That's
I love
interesting.
what I do, but
Yeah,
some days I wake up and
you
I'm
just
back
don't
up.
feel like
Some
it.
days I don't want to do it. Some days I want to jack it in completely and burn and burn the workshop down. And I
Yeah,
don't mean that lightly. I mean I really do sometimes. What do you say? Fuck this and burn the lot down.
yeah.
But I don't.
Mm.
And then I'm back to square one again. I've just got to fucking do it.
Yeah.
Just fucking do it.
So I guess that's really,
Simple as
really,
that.
yeah, no, and that's really interesting what you said, because it's not only, I guess, the first step, but you'll keep getting these hurdles, you know, difficulties, stuff like that. But then you kind of need to reset it again and just do it again, kind of
Yeah,
get yourself in the same mind frame. So it's not just once that you need to get going. You need to keep that kind of, because you're going to have difficulties. We all do, right? In every aspect of life, you're going to have setbacks,
absolutely.
whatever it is. But and do you think that makes it slightly, and this is a bit of a leading question, but do you think it makes it slightly easier to do that if you truly find something that you're passionate about and you love it, and that's your real, you breathe and you dream about it, like you mentioned before?
Yeah,
uh,
absolutely.
because I can see it for myself, right? It's, if it's something you're really passionate about, yes, you'll find difficulties, but at the same time it will make it worth it. And so
Absolutely.
it helps. It's never going to be easy, but it does help.
Yeah,
So
it's never going to be easy. And as you said, that saying, just fucking do it, will only work if you are passionate about it. Because if you're not, and you're procrastinating, then you need to ask yourself, are you really passionate about it?
Yeah.
Because if you're not, then you're in the wrong trade.
Yeah.
And as far as guitar making or pedal making or any creative industry, really, you're not going to get rich doing it.
Yeah.
There are very few of us that do.
Of course, yeah.
If you can make a living doing it, you're lucky.
Yeah.
It's so first question before the just fucking do it is, are you really passionate about it? Are you genuinely passionate about it? Because if you are, you will make that first step and you will fucking do it.
Yeah.
If you're not, maybe you need to look again.
And also, I think linked to that is also, don't, for myself and people generally from kind of the outside, because we're not doing it. I think it's easy to underestimate the amount of hard work that you put into it. So it's just both physically, but mentally, but also just the hours. They're long hours, you guys. Generally, I think someone like yourself, there is a lot of hard work to do, and it's not. It's you have to do the hard work if you want to do things.
Yeah, you have to put you have to put the hours in. There's no saying that to become proficient at something, you only need something like 100 hours. To become professional at something, you need at least 10,000.
Yeah,
you need at least 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like to say how many hours I put into making guitars over the years. I wouldn't like to say just how many complete and utter fuck ups I've made.
Of course,
because it is hundreds. It's hundreds. It only takes one slip.
Yeah,
and you can end up binning a body or a neck. Most of us have bins full of necks that we completely destroyed through carelessness, through accident, through not being quite sure about what we're doing, through learning.
Of course.
But then you never stop learning.
Yeah. So it's all part of the learning process, isn't it? Yeah.
Anybody who says, "Yeah, I'm an expert at that now. I don't need to learn it anymore." You're killing yourself, aren't you? Really?
Yeah.
You're killing yourself.
Yeah.
There are always areas where we can learn. You should never stop learning. And if you think that you're going to, then again, maybe you're in the wrong trade.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, on this positive note, let's talk about the future. So I'm really excited because I've seen that on your website you've got a nice little banner or something at the top saying new models coming soon, new guitars coming soon. So I'm really excited to know. So and obviously, if there's any secrets that you don't want to reveal, don't tell us. But I'd be really interested to know what great things we can expect. What really cool designs.
We have a couple of new lines coming. A long time ago, I made the original a guitar that became known as the Crow.
Yes.
It was black on black on black with black Telecaster. That ended up being bought by a client. It was a stock guitar, a guitar that I made. It wasn't a custom order. And it was a guitar that, funny slight offshoot to it was bought by an old boy in Tennessee somewhere. I think he was about 100 miles outside of Memphis.
Okay. Well,
bought the guitar, loved it, had a bit of feedback, great. That's where it ends, and that's where it usually does. Yeah. If you get somebody that's also on social media, it's nice to sort of see them using guitar and stuff. But most of the time, you get a bit of feedback, and then that's it. You wave goodbye and you start again. Well, said guitar, quite randomly, I ended up, my other half found it online. She went, "Isn't that one of yours?" And it was in a guitar shop in Nashville.
So he had sold it. Oh God.
Yeah, it is. Look, they were selling it for a little bit more than he actually paid for it. that's even weirder. Okay,
That's
so I
not right.
dropped him a quick email, and it was possibly the most flattering feedback I've ever got. The week or so passed, and I got a response back in the shop, and from the guy that ran the shop, who was saying that it was an old dear and her daughter came in with about 8 guitars. Her grandfather, the daughter, was doing all the thing. Her father had died recently, and he collected guitars.
Oh.
He was the one that actually bought it, and they're taking it to Nashville with a lot of others to actually sell. And they bought it. They've done a bit of research, found my website, copied the blurb about the guitar stuff. Decided that regardless of what I charged him for it, it was actually worth a few $100 more than that, and put it up at that. I said, well, isn't that a bit? He said, well, no, not really. If you don't like it, up your prices. So, okay, fine, fair enough. So that was that was a guitar that was very popular online with a lot of people. I must confess that wasn't really as much down to me and the guitar as it was for a buddy of mine, Dave Hicks, who goes by the moniker David and the Devil, who's the most amazing blues player, blues guitarist.
Oh, wow.
If anybody hasn't listened to him, go look up David and the Devil on YouTube, on Instagram. He used to go by the name of Charlie Hicks when he was doing most of his blues stuff a few years ago.
Okay.
Had a few health problems, really inspiring guy. He has a voice that's like the bastard child of the Marlboro Man and Tom Waits. Brilliant. And a really talented slide guitarist. And one of the most humble guys you ever wish to meet. He had it for a while for a review and put out a few videos that people went nuts for. This guy saw it and bought it from there. But anyway, it's a guitar that was always very fond of. Just like think about black guitars. I don't know why. I like black guitars. This was black on black on black, and it might sound completely irrelevant and disassociated, but have you ever read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Yes.
Right. Do you remember there's a lovely scene there where they're leaving Millieways, the restaurant at the end of the end of the universe, and they get stuck in a stage. There's actually a stage prop for the loudest band in the world. Yeah. The guy's name is Hot Black Desi Arso. And they get stuck in a spaceship, and there's a little black switch on a little black console that lights up black to let you know you pressed it. And I just love the whole black on black on black on black. You know, the little black button with a little black light that lights up black. Love that idea, just because it's completely ridiculous. And this kind of illustrates how randomly bizarre my inspiration can actually be. Just from that, got me thinking about a line of black on black guitars. So we've had the Crow. So I've that's back as part of a new line. The Raven, which will be a again black on black on black, but it'll be a Strat shaped guitar with black on black body, so black with a slight black glitter, Relic nickel pickups, but black wenge neck, black ebony fretboard, black headstock, dark nickel Relic tuners. Wow. Two P90s and a Relic Bigsby. Which reminds me, I've got to strip that Bigsby to get it blasted. So that's one of them. So which I have the Crow, the Raven, and there's a third one. And I forgot what the hell it is. The Crow, the Raven. No, hang on a minute, and I'll tell you because it's going to.
Yeah, exactly. You've got too many guitars on the go at the same time. That's the problem.
I've got, Andrea. I have so many ideas. It's obscene. If I could make one guitar a week and die at 110 years old, which is unlikely still, that would give me double my current lifespan. So if I could do that, I would still have the same ideas again by the time I stops. So there we go. It is the line is called "Come Join the Murder," which is after The Raven and the Crow. Oh no, sorry, it is only two. The Raven and the Crow.
Okay, okay, yeah.
So hence I can remember it. So we have those two, which will be black on black
Yeah.
with black, as I like to say, all with heavily checked relic finishes. Like I say, the Raven is literally black on black with black, so it'll be a black wenge neck, ebony fingerboard, dark relic nickel hardware. So the tuners, the pick, nickel covered P90s, relic Bigsby, again in nickel. So it'll have that. We also have the a signature drive pedal coming out.
Oh, yes, that's what I wanted to ask you. Yes, how did that come along?
I was talking to a couple of friends on here about favourite pedals and our go-to pedals and where that comes from and why, and that got down to what tone bender do you like the best, and I just got thinking, well, what is my go-to drive pedal? And I'm of that era where I grew up in the 70s and 80s, so that whole 60s blues invasion came from and going right through from Skinner to Zeppelin to the rest of it, and that classic stoner rock that we all
love.
Grew up, really. So now my edge of breakup kind of sound that I'm happiest with. I've used a DoD 250 for donkey's years. But years and years ago, I was given a DoD 250 clone that was made by somebody that had a germanium and silicon clipping switch. So you can switch from having it
between the two.
Between the two. Now, the DoD, I remember rightly, was silicon diodes, not germanium. But I always preferred it on the germanium setting, but still used both loads.
Yeah.
And that became my go-to drive pedal for donkey years, and it still is.
Yeah.
In all respects. And I've always loved the Tone Bender Mark II. Never been able to afford a proper one, but always loved one. Played a fair few, but I thought one. I was talking to a lad called Justin Drawbridge from Justin Drawbridge Audio, who makes amazing pedals. His point-to-point wiring is a thing of beauty.
Wow.
And I did him a few custom enclosures.
Sure.
In return, he did me a fuzz pedal for a giveaway. Once I hit 3,000 followers, I did a giveaway.
Yes.
With that. But these three pedals, the three original black ones, had clear perspex backs, so you can actually see the internals. Now, that more people don't do, because you see, whenever I see a pedal builder put a picture of a pedal up, you will always get two photos, the front and then the classic gut shots. Why not just put a window in
a plastic?
So you can always see it. It's to me,
it makes sense, doesn't it?
It makes sense. So after we got chat about that, and he sent me a 10mm 1.5 to try, which was just stunning. It really was. The cleanup that you get from the guitar volume on the pedal is just because, like most people, we plug a fuzz pedal in, we just dime the fuzz straight away. First thing we actually do. And anybody that says, "Oh yeah, I do that," but you can't quite control it. No, because you don't really control a fuzz pedal from there. You do it from your guitar.
Yeah.
I told a friend of mine about that recently, who's a bass player, and he never got a fuzz pedal that he actually got on with. He said, "It's always too much," and he dialed it back. I said, "Well, you don't control it from there. You control it from the volume." Really? Do you? And it's changed his life in terms of using fuzz. It really has. It changed his life. Still, I guess it's maybe a generational difference, but there you go. But anyway, we got talking, and I said, "Well, I love your wiring and the vintage components and stuff. Could you make me a DoD 250 with a germanium and silicon diode options?"
Yeah.
He said, "Well, yeah, I can do that. I've got a few ideas." I said, "Yeah, but I kind of like it with that vintage mojo that you do so well."
Yes.
And he came back. He said, "Yeah, I'll do that." I said, "Well, I've got another idea now." He said, "What's that?" I said, "Put it the same pedal as the fuzz." He went, "Oh." Oh, I like that idea. So that's where it came from. So number one is due to arrive in the next sort of week or so.
Wow.
That'll be mine. And
Fantastic.
then number two will be coming shortly after that to go out for review. So I'm fairly sure that one will come your way at some point in a month or two, a couple of months. And then after that, it'll be on the website now. We've got the pricing sorted. It's pretty much dialed in.
Yeah.
Maybe a few tweaks, but so probably 6-8 weeks it'll be available.
So is that going to be a limited run, or is it just?
It'll be a made to order run. So rather than use the expense of going to Justin and saying I want 15 or 50 of these pedals, and then also having the risk of me being stuck with 49.
Of course, yeah, no, it makes sense.
You know, it's easier to do it made to order. The enclosures will still be done by me. Being sized by Justin, and fingers crossed I shall sell a few. It wasn't really done as anything more than a bit of self-gratification in a pedal, you know, made for me, partially by me and somebody whose work I admire. It was, I didn't intend actually, when I originally thought about it, of selling them. That kind of came later. But I figured, well, if I enjoy it, then somebody else might. So yes, we have that coming in a couple of months. And then the big one that hopefully will be coming towards the end of summer into autumn is the semi-solid resonator.
Oh wow, excited about that one. That one.
So that would be a good one. I've always loved resonators. Matt Ike, who owns Mule Resonators in the States, who I'm a massive fan of his work, and he's a lovely bloke actually.
Yeah.
As well, he actually a while back stopped exporting, sorry, to the UK. From what he told me at the time, he was getting a lot of issues with guitars being mishandled and then needing setups, and people didn't want to set them up because it's a resonator and bullshit like that. So he wasn't doing it. So I thought that's a real shame. And his new-ish guitar, the Mavis or Mavis, I don't know how they pronounce it.
Yeah.
Over there is a stunning instrument. And having seen the design of the internals, I thought, well, I like that's a nice idea. I wouldn't do that quite the same myself, and then that obviously led me to, well, if I wasn't doing that quite like myself, why don't I do one that is like I do it myself? So,
wow,
I thought, well, with the CNC coming, it's and it's a design that I had kicking around in the back of my head for years and years, about a semi-solid resonator made essentially in three pieces: a back, a frame, a top. Middle section creating the outside of the guitar with it being in a sandwich.
Yes.
The design of which I have now finalised. You asked me earlier about my design process. This was very traditional. Started off drawing on bits of scrap paper, posting them, then going right through to a more modern Apple Pencil, iPad, and then from there to a 3D CAD program. But no, it started on paper, and it'll be very much along the same lines as my Electrics Heavy Relic. Not so much Heavy Relic, but
that kind of look, I guess. Yeah, that
looking like it was made 50 years ago, right?
Yes.
Rather than 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. What about the pickups? Do you have something?
Well, funny enough, I've recently started doing some work with Thomas Nilsson, who is formerly of Cream Sea, who is a mad Norwegian genius where pickups are concerned. We've had a brief talk about that, and he has a. I'm not going to lay too much on this, just in case this particular part doesn't matter. But he has managed to get his hands on a Let me get it right. It's a 1948 pre-P90 designed Gibson prototype.
Pre-P90, okay.
Yeah, so it's a Gibson prototype from about 1948. It's pre-P90, made from a lap steel pickup.
Oh, wow,
But
yeah.
it kind of sits between, I think, the Charlie Christian and the P90.
Okay.
So we're hoping, if we get it together between us, to use that for the basis for the pickup. So something a little bit different in there than the normal mini humbucker that you usually see as a pickup in resonators.
Wow, that sounds exciting. That definitely sounds exciting. And one day, you know that I've asked you before, I would love a Firebird design from you.
Not a problem. That is Firebird in particular, slab body, not curves. That's bread and butter stuff. That's bread and butter stuff.
Good, good, because
not a problem.
Single pickup Firebird done. Done. Sorted. Oh, that's the kind of look. That's the look I want. But no, fantastic. So as usual, I think what I'm going to do is link all the various bits and pieces that we've talked about in the description. I'll put all the information. I think everyone, if you have any questions, if you want to get in touch with John, send him an email, harass him on Instagram. He's always there. Every time I go on Instagram, he's always online. So talk to him there. He will answer all your questions. If you've got, any desires, any need a bit of guidance, I guess that's also one thing.
Never a problem.
Which the one of the value added
advice is always free. It's always exactly advised to quote. You won't get a hard sell from me. It's just not me. So
don't hesitate to get in touch. And also, as I said, head over to Blind John's Guitars.com and check out the stock. I don't know how many do you, except for Lilith, how many do you have currently still available of your stock guitars?
Just that one now.
Oh, it's just that one.
Everything else has
already gone.
It does say in stock that my 59 special, which is a Telecaster with a humbucker in the
the humbucker in the neck.
But that's there because I've made so many of them. It's kind of my bread and butter piece, really.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Except for the fact that the website I find very pretty to look at. I really like the graphics. It looks very nice. But I think it also gives you a good idea for people that maybe aren't familiar with your work, with what you can do. It kind of shows the different styles of guitars you can do, whether it's like a Les Paul shape-ish. And I can't remember.
There's also a gallery of
there's a gallery of different types. And it gives people a good, because sometimes we'll need a bit of inspiration maybe before, with what kind of work we can, what we can work with essentially. And it's a really good website. And so, don't hesitate to go on it, check it out, get in touch with John. And is there anything you wanted to leave us with? Any final words?
I think I'll sign off with the Tom Waits quote, which is I like beautiful melodies whispering terrible things.
Oh, very nice. I like that, John. Beautiful. Thank you so much for your time. Sorry, this is
more than a pleasure.
We are currently running at 1 hour 25, so it's definitely been a really interesting conversation. It's flown by.
Been good.
Personally, I can tell you, I found this really inspiring. Really, some some things that I can relate to, and I'm sure a lot of people at home can relate to. But also, it gives some really good advice in terms of, I think, getting your head in the right place, getting, following whatever you want to do. And it doesn't necessarily have to be guitars or music, whatever it is. I think it's, universal. And so, it's been really, really good. Thank you so much.
No, it's been good. My pleasure.
Thank you so much, John. I'll speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon.